Hello, hello. Check 1 2. Checking the sound. Okay, it's looking good. What is going on? Guys, gals, aliens, and DGen freaks, welcome back to Dano Cryptos. We figured we'd do another live stream at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wanted to see how many people would pop in. We were going to do members only, but we were looking at the figures, and it looks like we don't have enough members. So I guess we need to promote that a little bit more with having member signups. Then we can do members only live streams. We've talked about it before, but what's going on? We got Crypto Naughty. See who's popping in. We're gonna talk about the title of the video. Rich Dad Poor Dad thinks Bitcoin is going to $5,000. So I want to know what you guys think about that. We're going to talk about it. We're going to analyze it. Do you think Bitcoin will ever get that low? Do you think it'll ever get that low? We'll see. We will have to see, guys, but we're going to analyze it. I'd love to get your thoughts in the chat. Make sure you guys are sharing this stream to whatever social platforms you guys like to use. Make sure you're hitting the like button and all of those things. And we're going to get into the price. We're going to analyze some trades. We're going to look at some altcoins. And we're going to see what's trending across X and on the news right now when it comes to crypto and just what's happening. All right, so and that I said the same thing. I was like, so I'm reading the chat, and people are saying, yes, all markets would just be getting then a pretty much completely slaughtered. If Bitcoin was at $5,000, that means the rest of the markets and something's happening in the world that is just astronomical, like asteroid level, that Bitcoin would be at 5K or under 10K again. Then Capo would indeed then have been right all along. And I don't know. I don't think Robert Kiyosaki actually really thinks that it's going to go to 5K. But then when I heard that and I saw that article, and this was on TradingView, so we're going to analyze it. And since we're just opening up with this statement, we'll just go right to it. And we just thought that, like, I don't know, man, that's just so bearish. It just makes me think, like, does Robert Kiyosaki look at the same charts that we look at when it comes to the Bitcoin halving years? Does he study the Bitcoin halving years? Has he looked at what has happened prior to since from 2012 on almost every 4-year cycle election year? We've had a business as usual kind of move up to the upside, regardless of even who was president, and also on the halving years of 2017, 2020, and now in this year, we could be getting that same parabolic move to the upside. And it doesn't come without its ups and downs with the volatility, with the green candles going up, the downsides, the sideways action. But I think we are now due for, if you're analyzing these cup and handle patterns on the daily, on the weekly, looking at the bull flag that we've been now breaking out of. Basically, we broke out hard. Really started to trade up super bullish, and it's getting back up to going past 67,000 as we speak. Could be opening up pretty bullish for the Asian market opens at 9:30. So Robert Kiyosaki warns of a Bitcoin crash to 5,000. Here's why. So Robert Kiyosaki, the renowned author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, has issued a stark warning about an impending financial crisis that he believes will lead to a significant market downturn, including a potential Bitcoin crash to $5,000 per coin. In a post on X today, Kiyosaki elaborated on his views regarding the current economic climate, drawing parallels to the 2008 global financial crisis. Why Bitcoin could crash to 5,000. Kiyosaki revisited the events of 2008, referring to the GFC as a pivotal moment when, in his views, the criminals at the Fed and Treasury began printing trillions of fake dollars in an attempt to stop global effing depression. He argued that these measures were taken to save their ultra-rich friends, which is true, while the general public was left to suffer the consequences. And so I think Robert Kiyosaki forgets that out of 2008, that's how Bitcoin was born. And then you can kind of, ultimately see what happens after that. What happens with silver, gold ended up breaking out of that financial crash. All right, so The massive influx of newly printed money led to what he describes as the everything bubble phenomenon, where all markets begin to rise artificially, floating on a sea of fake money. He believes that this bubble is unsustainable and on the verge of transforming into the everything crash. He warns that everything will crash, including gold, silver, and Bitcoin, suggesting that the market is approaching a critical point akin to a blow-off top. Now, at the press time, BTC was trading at 65,657, and now currently trading at over 67,000, and Litecoin trading over $71 now as we speak. And so what I think is that, you know, there could be a crash, but I think it's going to happen probably after the fact of the dust settling through this election, going into maybe Q2 of 2025. I don't see any kind of crash happening like right now. It wouldn't make any sense for the markets to be crashing. We have an election coming up. It would just look bad for everyone. It would just be a very inconvenient monkey wrench to be thrown at us to have a major crash like what Robert Kiyosaki's saying, where Bitcoin's at $5,000, because I can imagine what else is it crashing ensue of a Bitcoin being priced at $5,000. That'd be a big drawdown to the downside. So if we were to crash that hard to $5,000 to where we currently are right now, from where we are, I mean, that's a pretty substantial dip. I mean, that would be from right here all the way down to 5,000 would be a 92% crash. Basically just, yeah, right down into this level, which is from the previous halving year of 2020, where we had that breakout. So that would be the complete opposite of what has happened after halving years of 2017 and 2020, where we've had those parabolic moves to the upside. And so, yeah, I don't think that companies, like BlackRock and, Van Eck and Grayscale, Coinbase, especially Coinbase and USDT and all these, and I'll show you why I don't think this is going to happen. You got a lot of people doubling down that are deep in the institutional game of being custodians of a lot of money, a ton of money. So this guy, he was actually speaking at the Bitcoin conference, and I really loved his speech because he talked about USDT. He talked about the validity of USDT and how that they do have the money to back it up. They do have the reserves to back up the USDT, and this guy is actually implementing in Cantor Fitzgerald Bitcoin services and just like being just super bullish on crypto and helping his friends and also institutions just like learn about crypto and implement it as in their strategy to help their companies grow.
100% tariffs. So do you think if we said, and of course it's a bargaining chip, we can't sell a Ford or GM in Europe. You go to Europe, you can't sell a Ford or GM. Why? There's 100% tariffs. How about in Japan? 100% tariffs. So do you think if we said, we're going to tariff you the way you tariff us, do you think they're going to allow Mercedes and all these Japanese companies and Porsches and BMWs to all of a sudden have 100% tariffs in America? Of course not. They're going to come and negotiate, and their tariffs are going to come down. And finally, Ford and General Motors are going to be able to sell in these places.
How's that sound, Andrew? That sounds...
Of course they're going to come down. Of course. This is just negotiating.
It absolutely makes sense. If you do it strategically, if it's across the board, it creates a real problem. And the question is whether you believe the president is going to do it strategically or across the board. He keeps saying it across the board.
Well, when you're running for office, you make broad statements so people understand you,
right.
Okay? Tariffs are an amazing tool by the president to use. They're an amazing tool, but he understands, don't tariff stuff we don't make, right? If we don't make it, and you want to buy it, I don't want to put the price up there. It's pointless. But use tariffs to build in America. If we want to make it in America, tariff it. Or if we're competing with it, tariff it. But you got to remember, we need to protect the American worker. Finally, someone's going to protect the American worker. And Donald Trump is here to protect the American worker.
And that's honestly the truth, is that's why if you really start to study Donald Trump's administration compared to Harris's administration or the Biden administration or Bidenomics or Obamonomics, Obamacare, it's all outsourcing. It's all outsourcing. What they do is they figure out a way to get through and with their social programs to basically give people these crappy resources, to really, really bad government help, and where they basically have their fingers in everything, but then it takes forever for things to get done. And it's just not, it's just you have to think about what both of these parties are trying to do. They're one is trying to make it where American workers and also crypto companies can survive and thrive in America, so they don't have to feel like they can outsource or whatever, or feel like they're going to get sued or get a Wells notice by the SEC. And so ultimately, when you think about the Republican Party, or you think about, Trump against Harris, you have to think about, if you're voting for Harris, you're voting for outsourcing your hard-earned skills, with the things that you have that you can provide. Living in America is then going to be outsourced by illegal immigrants that will then be made, quote, legal and taking those jobs, and then everything is just being outsourced. So that's how you kind of have to think about it.
Of money in tariffs, or if they're used as negotiating tactics. Look, tariffs will come down there. We're not going to have super high tariffs here either. There's not going to be a big pot of money at the end of the day.
I love that story. So which is it? Do we make a lot of money on tariffs, or we bring productivity here, and we drive up our workers here? So it's a win-win scenario. I like both of them. I think what's going to happen is we'll make a bunch of money on the tariffs, but mostly everybody else is going to negotiate with us, and we will be more fair. In 1948, right, we came up with something called the Marshall Plan, right? The world, Germany and Japan were destroyed after World War II, and we wanted to export our economy to them. So we made a rule. They could tariff us, and we won't tariff them. So they can rebuild.
This is the best explanation I've heard of.
So they can rebuild their economy. We rebuilt their economy using something called the Marshall Plan. Our economy is so awesome that we'll use it to help you rebuild. When should that have ended? What do you think, 1980? Right? 1985? I mean, why 40 years are Japan and Germany and all of Europe still tariffing the heck out of our auto industry, tariffing the heck out of our furniture industry? Do you realize all your furniture you're buying that's made foreign? It seems crazy. Why? It's because they tariff us, and we don't tariff them. It's so obvious.
So it's really interesting. It's really interesting when you start to kind of see through the veil, see through how everything is run, and how eventually, when a particular party gets in control that is being puppet stringed by the deep state, guess what? There's going to be all kinds of market manipulation, thievery, hucksters, scam artists, Ponzi schemes. Basically, all of what Gary Gensler says about crypto is what is happening with the very same party that he helped when Hillary Clinton was running for president. So it's crazy. It's crazy. So I was trying to find the Robert Kiyosaki tweet where he was talking about that, where he was talking about a $5,000 Bitcoin. I could not find it. I was trying to find it. It was like he probably deleted it because everyone was probably lighting him up. They were like, $5,000 Bitcoin? You were insane. All right, so Alex Becker was like, what the is this? Yeah, I was feeling the same way. right, boosting right up to 68K, getting up to that 69,000, almost back in the 70K range, and then just right back down to 65K. But, ladies and gentlemen, we have actually we're just like skirting right now on this bull flag. Woo! So then it's time to fold because that's who told me to get in. That's funny. Shout out to Big Daddy Super Balls Rothschild. Shout out to Nate Dogg. Shout out to Crypto Naughty. Thank you guys for being here. Shout out to Frederick St. Pierre. Drinking an Olipop root beer. Olipop root beer. It's a tasty soda. Do you guys think we're gonna get? You guys think we're gonna get past a 69,000 Bitcoin tonight? You think we're gonna get that move? Because it's actually looking like it could be in the cards. It could be in the cards, guys. It could be very, very well in the cards for a move like that to the upside. Because man, we've been ranging sideways in this action. At some point, we got to do something. We got to either go down. Like I said on the last stream, I either want to see $38,000 Bitcoin right now, or I want to see a 100K Bitcoin. I'm tired of seeing 69 and then 50, 60, then 50, then 60s, then 50, then 60. You know, it's just been going do. I just want something to happen. I know you guys feel the same. Yeah. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I think once we see the Asian markets open, which happens about 9:30, we start to see. I think it's the Hang Seng Index. Then we got the we're going to see how these open. Yeah, the Shanghai, Thailand. But it's looking good. This is what we're actually we were really eyeing Litecoin. We thought like, okay, if we're going to be getting some pumps on an altcoin, I think Litecoin is the way to go right now. But good safe bet on an altcoin. And if indeed we do get, you know, a bullish Asian market open later tonight, just in about 45 to 50 minutes, then we could actually get another push to the upside, because we did get a V-shaped recovery through the day on the market close. If you're looking at the daily, or actually, you probably want to look at the 4 hour. Look at the 4 hour, and then you're going to see. Sorry, you probably want to go to the. Yeah, here, you want to do that. Was it on the 5? I think it was like on the. There it is. So if you're looking at the 5 minute, you can see how Bitcoin tried to push up to that 68,000, and then it went boom. Right down back to 64. But then it had a V-shaped recovery, zoom, to push back up, test, and now look at that Bollinger Band just tightening up. If we can get another curve here, just like we had, and we get another bullish divergence kind of forming here to get another swing up. Oh man, I'm gonna like that. That would be sweet. I don't see the volume though. The volume is not as strong as it was earlier. Obviously earlier today. But that's on the 5 minute. But on the daily though, the daily looks good. See, the daily looks really good. The daily looks like we want to go to 71K. That's what the daily looks like.